We're back on another Tuesday with Prop Stars. My buddy TJ over here, man. I hope you're having a great week. Thanks for tuning in. It was an incredible week in football. We definitely got a lot to unpack and a lot to talk about. Some pretty good championship games, some really good scenarios.
Yeah.
We're going to break down some future fantasy players and the potentiality of game-winning situations and picks next year. TJ, how you feeling today, man? Obviously, thanks for bearing with us. Couple technical difficulties. Happy to be here. How you doing?
Yeah, technology sucks. The most basic things seem like such a challenge sometimes. And mics, headsets. We're running a mom and pop organization here, and we're just still trying to figure things out. Honestly, hectic morning. I got AC guys coming in and out. I got people installing fans. I never had fans in this house. That's a big fiasco.
That is crazy.
But yeah, let's get
How'd I
right
never
into
notice?
it.
You don't have any fans?
No fans. I mean, it's just the way the house is. Like, you don't really need them, but we want them, and now we have them. I know. No fans.
Okay.
Zandy, thanks for listening. I mean, there were 2 games. The AFC rejects. Some of the worst football I've ever seen. I don't care if it's snow, and I know how hard it is to play in snow, but we've seen the Patriots, the New England Patriots, I call them, for faking it. It's a joke. They're going to get their doors blown off in the Super Bowl. And yeah,
You
John,
think
it's
so,
30 it's 30 degrees down here. It's going to be in the 20s next week. We're not equipped for this. Our heater doesn't work in our air conditioning unit, so we have an AC company here today. We haven't turned the heat on in 2 years since we've been here. So
That's crazy, man. Yeah, it's a lot going on. All right, so he's saying Rams and Seahawks was great, but you know how Gene cracks the whip, man. The first game is the old
Yeah.
Patriots Broncos. Let's just dive right in. The text that TJ gave me. Let me just pull up this text message. TJ goes, he says, so the Patriots had 1 touchdown drive and it was 2 plays, 12 yards? Question mark? Yeah.
I was
TJ,
so
that's exactly
confused.
what happened.
I had to rewatch the game because I was so confused.
Drake May was running. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He had some big first downs. He used his legs. He's obviously got a lot of ability with his legs, and in the snow like that, he caught him sleeping a few times, made some big plays. That's where he got the touchdown drive. It was on a QB draw. I think he already has more rushing yards in his playoff career than Tom Brady. Just, it's like one of the best facts, I think. And I think this game solidified it. But Drake May definitely did just enough to squeak by. The Broncos scored 7 points on that first drive. It really had you thinking, right? It looked like Stidham was for real. He beat Gonzo on that 50-yard play, and then they ended up getting the touchdown. He looked good. And do you think they got away from? There was a lot of motion that they kept using to keep New England off balance in that first quarter. Everything had motion. They were aligning to see if it was zone, if it was man. Everything was right to left to right. And they had everything kind of in a flow that keep the Patriots on their heels. And then I felt like as the halves changed and the snow blanketed the field, you didn't see as much motion. And I thought that they kind of simplified the playbook a little bit, forced it. I mean, maybe that's the cold weather. It just didn't seem like they were as aggressive. They outgained them. They had the Patriots on the ropes, right? They were beating them. They had the lead.
Yep. No, I know. Yeah, John, drive on down. The Super Bowl weekend's going to be a lot warmer. Well, Sean Payton admitted it. He made a big mistake early. He could have stepped on their neck, went up 2 possessions against one of the worst offenses we've ever seen in NFL history of making the playoffs, right? New England cannot move the ball. They struggle in almost every aspect. I'm not even a New England hater. It's just unfortunate that the way everything played out this year, that we just have a team that isn't great in the championship, in the Super Bowl. But Sean Payton could have went up 10-0 on a gimme field goal.
All he had to do was take the points.
He knew how bad the weather was going to be in the second half. Everybody knew that it was coming. You could have went up 2 possessions at home. And it wasn't 4th and an inch. It was 4th and a yard on a gimme field goal. You take your 3, you go up 2 possessions when you know the blizzard is about to come. And he had a brain fart. Didn't make any sense. He went for it, didn't even run the ball. Like I understand if you get stopped on a QB sneak or tush push, but and it changed the whole game. And then literally,
New England
just
got
like
stuffed on a 4th down too, right? So I mean, they traded empty possessions, they traded missed field goals.
yeah, I don't know about. I mean, I know New England. I remember their big tush push where it looked like they got stopped and they got the first down. Maybe they got stopped on 4th down, but they couldn't move the ball. I mean, New England is struggling, and all Stidham had to do, just like CJ Stroud, just don't hand them the game. At least make Drake May go down the field, right? Instead, you gave it to them on the 12-yard line. They shouldn't even have given it. It should have been a touchdown on New England's defense. It's silly because it's just like with the CJ Stroud play. It's a screen pass. You see the guys coming. It's not like you got blindsided and got hit. You see these guys, they're coming. You're pulling linemen. The screen pass was covered. You just throw it away and you live to see another down. All you had to do was not give them the ball inside your own 20, and you win the game. The Patriots against this they were not going to move the ball. So they got really, like, I think Hollins had 2 big catches. One was like on a 3rd and 15 on like a deep down and in kind of somewhat curl route. And the other was like on a corner route, I think. But New England cannot move the ball.
How many times do you think New England punted?
Yeah, I guess I don't really remember Denver catching that many punts. I don't know why. I don't remember.
They punted 8 times.
8? Okay, yeah.
It's a lot. That's what you're
Yeah,
saying. It's 2 a quarter.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they
they
had
could
3
not.
punts in the first. They had the
Yeah,
touchdown to tie it up in the second quarter. Then they traded missed field goals to end the half, right?
yeah.
That was how that went. And then it came out punt, missed field goal, punt, interception, end game. I mean, it's so crazy. Like there was like the field goal that the Patriots went up in the 3rd quarter, but it was just 4th quarter was all punts, missed field goals, pick. I mean, you're right. The weather, they couldn't move the ball. Now, is this offense, are they struggling because they don't have an offensive identity, or are they struggling because they've played 3 top 5 defenses and no other team has really played this kind of defensive run? And
I
do you
mean,
think that this is on Drake May, or is this on coaching?
I'm not. Yeah, like a top 5 D. I mean, a top 5 D. It's just so subjective. Like they've
You're saying
played good.
what is it a top 5 in? Is it top
Yeah,
5
I
in
know.
total
What does
yards?
that
Is it
really?
total
I
points,
mean, the
right? That's what you're
Texans. Yeah, the Texans have a good defense, and the Patriots made some plays when they had to. The Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. Good for them. This is one of the worst teams I think that we've seen in the Super Bowl.
All right, so devil's advocate, right?
Yeah,
The Patriots so far have allowed through 3 games they've played so far, right? They've allowed
yeah,
26 points.
yeah,
I think the lowest run was by the Ravens in 2000. I think they allowed 23 points through their
yeah,
playoff run in 4 games, right?
yeah.
So, they're not shutting up the Seahawks.
No, I mean
And it would
Seahawks.
only be 3 points differential of, like, the greatest defense of all time, or at least performance-wise, and you could
Yeah,
argue that against the teams that they played. But the Seahawks, you think it's gonna be a blowout, and you think it's gonna be more like the Eagles against the Chiefs. Weak AFC team makes it, and then the dominant NFC team just smokes them.
yeah. I hope I'm wrong because I want to see a good game, but I just don't see. New England had the easiest schedule in NFL history, and
You don't think it has to do with their defense?
I mean, look, the Broncos they played Stidham. Stidham made a good throw early, but then looked so bad they were contemplating going to the backup. You know, yeah, like obviously we're not going to compare that Ravens defense to this Patriots defense. Now
I
you
mean, the
could
only 3 points
argue,
differentiate is why I say it, right? And you
yeah,
don't compare because it's different, but we don't know what happens in the Super Bowl, and we don't know if they shut them out, you know what I mean, or
yeah,
whatever.
like you talked about it. Like Sutton had a huge drop early on. It was a little behind them, but
It was a little bit
it
behind.
was. I mean, it's a travesty how these coaches nowadays, there's no how do you say it? There's no accountability, right? It's just like, oh, it's 4th and 1. Analytics say this, you do this. You're going to tell me analytics with a backup quarterback? It's about to be a fucking blizzard. You're at home versus an offense that cannot move the ball. You would think how frustrated I am that I had money on I had no skin in this game at all. But it's sad that there's a blizzard on the way. You're at home. You have a chance to go up 2 possessions versus the weakest playoff team we have seen in NFL history to this point. Don't go by their record. Go by what they've done in the regular season versus winning teams. Now you have a backup quarterback that has somehow was able to throw a bomb to Mims early, was able to go through a drop through Sutton. You can go up 10 points at home with the blizzard on the way. And you just decided, no, man, we're going for it. We got momentum. And also, this is the thing that drives me fucking crazy about these coaches. What if you get the first down? Let's just say you get the first down. What does analytics tell you then? If New England's defense is somewhat respectable, you're not even guaranteed to get the touchdown, right? You have a backup quarterback. I'm going to tell you in really cold and bad weather that most of the time, if a team has 1st and goal from the 10, they're not going to get the touchdown. So now you're going to go for it and you're going to get the first down. Yes, we did it. Most likely, you're going to kick the field goal anyways, 4 downs later. So take your automatic 3 before the blizzard comes at home. Take your 2 possession lead. And I don't care what analytics are telling you. Sometimes you got to just do. Is analytics projecting the blizzard? Is analytics projecting that Stidham is not going to deliver anything with confidence inside the red zone? Is analytics projecting that the Patriots have had a really weak schedule and they cannot move the ball? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like,
I was there watching the game with our buddy Chris Santos, obviously huge Patriots fan, and I was there with Larger too. And we were talking about it, and as soon as the Broncos went up, that's the first time that Drake May and the Patriots have even trailed in this playoffs. So you put him in a very precarious situation, knowing that the weather is coming, and you go up 2 possessions. It just seems like the right thing to do. It seems like it's the pressure. It squarely puts it on them because it's 2 possessions and it's out of a little bit further out of reach. I thought it was definitely you said that Sean Payton didn't step on the throat. I thought that's what he was trying to do. And he let the analytics get cute. He was trying to ice him. You go up 14 and it's over. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
but what's
they're
the
not
difference?
coming
I
back.
know, yeah.
And I know exactly what you're saying. You just sit there and you take the field goal. You're not going to get it. I think that he was just trying to show his team and he was trying to show Stidham that he believed in him and the
Yeah.
confidence in the call. And we're going to go for it. And we're going to go to the Super Bowl right now. And it's in the first quarter and we got him on the ropes and let's get this, right?
Yeah, I
And
know,
they
but
did.
you're still
Or
going.
second.
And listen, I'm coming from a
I'm
Madden
just saying that
perspective.
that had to be the line of thought. You know,
Oh,
that has to be
100%.
it.
And he isn't like a complete buffoon.
And
for
he's
thinking
gambled
that way.
before in the Super Bowl. He's onside kicked, right? And done stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's not like he's lacking balls.
It's just the frustration is boiling over from watching all of these coaches now. And I get it in the regular season and all this, but you're costing your team championships and you're costing yourself. Now, I come from the Madden train of thought. If it's close, don't punt, go for it. You have so much field to work with. It's a whole different dynamic when you have the ball on the 50-yard line. You see what I'm trying to say? And the weather's good. Keep the punter on the sidelines. That, to me, is going for it and having, balls. When you're on the 15-yard line, those safeties and corners are not scared
Field
that
is
you're
so
going
much
to beat
smaller.
them. They're not scared you're going to beat them deep. Everybody on the field on defense, is running a 4.6 40. Now these defensive ends are running 4.6 40s. And you're just letting your team down by not being responsible, right? And he wasn't crazy in a vacuum. The decision wasn't crazy, but we're not in a vacuum. You're at home versus a team that cannot move the ball with the biggest winter storm that we have seen in 20 years sweeping across your stadium. The game is over if you kick that field goal, and that's it. And then I don't understand, as you're coaching your quarterback, you're literally telling him now when he has the ball on his side of the field, the game is over if you don't hand them the ball. So you throw it, you run a screen pass, it's not there, throw it away. Intentional grounding, who gives a fuck? Throw it away. Don't, like CJ Stroud handed it to him. It wasn't like it was a great defense and the guy jumped it. CJ Stroud got nervous and floated up a 5-yard pass with 3 defenders around. It was easily intercepted for a touchdown. Just don't hand him the ball. It's just disappointing to see now. We'll see the Patriots get their doors blown off in the Super Bowl.
All right. So
But
just
that's
before
that.
we move on, so the
Yep.
Patriots, after the game, Kraft comes in, gives Vrabel the game ball. First team in history to be 9-0 on the road.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yep.
they won 9 games on the road. They go against 3 top 5 defenses. And obviously you, or a lot of other people just like you, still have them faded. They're the underdog going into the next game. And I know we're going to break that down later. But again, no respect. Patriots go into another Super Bowl as the underdog.
Yep.
And they're the only undefeated team on the road in history. And they're the only team to play 3 top 5 defenses to make it there. I mean, they're doing things. Sure, it's all subjective, but this is just nobody's going to look at all that. Just as we know about winners and losers down the road, if they do end up winning a Super Bowl, it'll be a different spin than everything that's been said so far about it.
100%. And the spread came out at 5.5. I thought it was going to jump up to 7 or 8, but it's
And
actually
it's
going
at
down.
4.5. It went down.
People are betting the Patriots. I'm thankful for that because I don't think that they're seeing what I'm seeing. And I think that Seattle does have a good defense.
All right. So
But
you ready to get into it? You ready to break them down? All right.
Well,
so
talk about this. Yeah.
All right. The Rams and the Seahawks. These teams are legit a coin flip. Their offense is dynamic. Sam Darnold, I needed to see it from Sam Darnold. He stepped up to the plate. He made big throw after big throw, kept making the right read. He didn't give the ball away. He was smart. He was decisive. He was fast. His footwork looked great. Got to give him a lot of compliments, right? Darnold looked great. Their defenses. I thought the Rams played a hell of a game. Seattle obviously has a great defense. What it came down to is so crazy, man. They always say how old school football is. It's 3 phases. There's offense, there's defense, there's special teams. And the reason why the Rams lost that game is because of special teams. It took one big play, one muff punt, and that was it. And sure, the Rams were up and, Seattle came back, and it was just a back and forth game. But one play is so detrimental. And the first 2 games were decided by 1 and 2 points. Sure, one game, Darnold had 4 interceptions. They still barely lost. The other game, Stafford didn't look great. They still barely lost. These teams are so evenly matched. It wouldn't have surprised me after watching 3 quarters going into the 4th quarter. Man, I don't know who's going to go. And whoever goes, they both look great. They both look like they're fighting. Like Puka Nacua is just unstoppable. JSN is a machine. And Kenneth Walker didn't really get off. Their running game, that Charbonnet injury is awful for them. They did not.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but go on.
I think that they were definitely missing Charbonnet, and I think that Walker was. You can look at the box score; it was not a great game by him by any means. And the Rams' defense was supposed to get run on. Blake Corum looked good. Kyron Williams looked good. Obviously, you had Devontae doing some things. It was a slugfest. This was definitely the better of the games. You know what I mean? Like this game was absolutely awesome. It came down to the end, and you get to see Sam Darnold make it to a Super Bowl before the likes of a Lamar Jackson. He makes it to a Super Bowl before the likes of a Josh Allen. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys that he's been compared to, guys that were ahead
Yeah.
of him, and here he is in the big show. How does Minnesota feel letting him go and he's in a Super Bowl? You know, like, are they happy they
Yeah.
made the bet with McCarthy? What do you think that is
I,
as we go to unpack everything that there is?
yeah. I mean, obviously now we know Minnesota made a big mistake, but I think that Seattle. Now this was a great game. Puka and Devontae looked great. Those guys are so strong and they're so shifty and they have great hands. They're impossible to cover one on one. I don't think this is a game where I don't think the defenses looked soft. I think these guys were getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. I mean, Sam Darnold made some throws in the pocket where he's like getting hit, hanging in the pocket. That throw to JSN on the corner right out of the backfield was amazing. He They both threw 3 touchdowns. They both threw for over 300 yards. They both had 0 interceptions. But this was not a game where I felt like the defenses were weak. It was just a game where the offenses were clicking. There was no drop balls. But like you said, it's unfortunate because you could argue the Rams had, they kind of played the better game and they were victimized by 2 fumbles on punt returns. One was given up, but the guy fumbled earlier in the game also
And barely
on
got it.
one that, like, now I've always said catching a punt, especially in the cold, in the wind, in the playoffs, has to be so nerve-wracking, right? That's not an easy job. But this punt returner, I don't know if he had the yips or what, but he fumbled 2. One, what he atrociously misjudged. The other one he tripped. So both were kind of like, man, you're an NFL athlete, and I
Just
guarantee
shows
that
you
guy
Shaheed,
hasn't
Raheem
slept a
Shaheed
wink.
is just so valuable whenever you have a guy who's just so solid
Yeah.
in your special teams is all. That's it. It's
Yeah.
just a guy who's not costing you games, who has that game-winning speed, and everything could very well be different if he could have returned a punt without muffing it. Um, Rob says that may have well been the Super Bowl. I don't know. I think the Super Bowl is still gonna be a better game than what people are giving it credit for, man. I
Yeah.
think
I
the
hope I'm
Patriots are gonna
wrong.
hang
I
in there,
just
and I
don't
don't wanna
see.
get too much into it. I think
Yeah.
that this game was billed everything it was. It was their 3rd time. It was a rubber match, and I thought that they knew each other's tendencies, and they laid it all out of there on the field, man. That was so tragic to see it come down to a
Yeah.
muff punt. I was
Yeah.
hoping. I know that I'm happy for Darnold. I was hoping that the game was, I had the Rams picked. I was hoping the Rams are going to win. That was my
Yeah.
pick. But
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
thought
I'm
the
not
Seahawks
upset
would
at
win,
all
but
about it. I don't have a horse in the race, and I
yeah.
think that this is an awesome story for Sam Darnold. I think he's the biggest story out of this.
It's a cool story. Patriot fans are abundant. Patriot fans are everywhere. So it would have been a disaster for the NFL if this was Broncos and Jared Stidham versus Seahawks.
I think so.
So,
So there's a few things that we know
what's
about
up,
Sam
Eric?
Darnold.
I got
There's a
Eric.
few
I
things
just
we know
can't.
about Sam Darnold,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
He's a
go.
USC
Yep.
quarterback. He's a
Yep.
journeyman. He was from the Jets, and he ended up over
Carolina,
Carolina and then Minnesota,
Minnesota.
right?
Yep.
And then now here he is, and he's making his first appearance. Did you know that his granddad was the Marlboro Man, the original Marlboro Man?
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
Sam
crazy.
Darnold, it's been proven, fact checked. Sam Darnold's grandfather is the original Marlboro Man, the most badass, toughest. He was like in the 80s and 90s, you had like the world champion in boxing, the Marlboro Man, and then it was like the Gracies in UFC. Like those were like the most badass people on the planet that nobody
Yeah.
could touch.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that was, if I would have known that, I think I might have been giving him a little bit more cred and him earning shots and being tough. I'm just saying, as like a preview light, I think that changes things about the way I look at him and his toughness. And then you look at him and the way that he's continued to persevere and the way he's continued to succeed and the way he's continued to fight, right? And then on a game like a team that you very well could have shit the bed, you've already thrown 4 interceptions. You got the whole world clamoring, is this the real Sam Darnold about to show himself? And you go up there and get everybody to shut the fuck up and you ball out. I mean, I just think it shows testaments. And as soon as I found that out, I just thought, man, that actually makes me like him so much more because that's like the most badass granddad you could ever have. That's so gangster.
No, he looked. I mean, yeah, it's cool. Darnold looked great. Yeah, thanks for joining, Eric. I think your Patriots are gonna get whooped, but it is what it is. Yeah, and Johnny, I don't think. Yeah, we could have drafted Sam Darnold instead of Saquon, but at the time, I'm still okay with that decision. And Sam Darnold, I think, has grown as a quarterback. But we knew coming out of college, the guy had every tool. I remember watching that bowl game. It was USC versus who the fuck was it? I mean, he was lighting it up. He's big, he's strong, he's a good athlete, but now he's like turned into a true pocket passer. And JSN looks like a video game receiver. He's just like I know, shout out to Bapu, but he the way JSN runs routes, it's like a quick twitch and that one-handed catch. I mean, JSN, Kenneth Walker, there are some badass athletes. And I think the Patriots, if you find a way to win, they're going to have to really. Sam Darnold keys on JSN so much that you have to have Sam Darnold make mistakes throwing to JSN. I just don't think. I think Kenneth Walker's going to have a big game. I think that. I
You
mean,
think so?
Kenneth
The
Walker
Patriots haven't.
looks
I think the
healthy.
Patriots are like only allowed, what is it, one or two 50-yard rushers all season? And I mean,
Yeah,
situation, scenario, running backs, whatever you want to say. You think that Kenneth Walker has a great game after he just, what did he just put up in this last one? Wasn't much. Looking at the box score,
yeah. I think he had like
Kenneth
60
Walker,
something yards.
I think
He got,
62 yards, 3.3 average on 19 carries.
but he had 4 catches for 50 yards. He was real. I mean, he looks so explosive. And I understand the lore of Kenneth Walker. I don't love him in fantasy because he can't stay healthy, but that guy is healthy as a horse right now. And it just looks different when he's holding the ball, right? Um, I think that the Seahawks are so relieved that they don't have to see Devontae and Puka again. I do agree with Rob. I think this was the Super Bowl. I think Seattle has 3 phases of the game, and I think Vrabel has done a great job. And I think that Drake May has really came crashing back down to earth. He has not looked good the last couple games, and I don't see that changing much.
I think Drake May hasn't had a good game yet, and he's going to have a good game in the Super Bowl, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't think he looks good. Like he threw for 80 yards, and one of them was one was like a 40-yard, 30-yard, 35-yard throw to Hollins on a corner route where the DB slipped.
On
But I
a flea
mean,
flicker, yeah.
like you're looking at Drake May, where like the guy threw for, you could have argued. I mean, the guy didn't throw over 100 yards.
He
The
threw
weather, of
86
course.
yards, 10 to 21,
Yeah,
sacked 5 times. He had
yeah,
10 carries for 65 yards.
yeah. Drake May is going to be okay. And like, yeah, you're right. The storyline is going to be: will the Seahawks make up for? Yeah, Eric, I know those conditions weren't great, but the first half they weren't horrible. I mean, Stidham was moving the ball pretty well, and I think Drake May threw for like 40 yards in the first half when the weather was good. So I think
Oh, we
Drake
got
May's
it. We got Mr. Langan in the building, little Patriots fan. So, all right.
also Eric. I got your guy. He's installing my fans right now. He's a class act. I appreciate the reference.
Gotta love that. It's all about who
Guy's
you
a
know.
beast.
So going forward, you think the Seahawks will whoop the shit out of the Patriots?
I think it's gonna get ugly. I think it's honestly
I,
the
I,
first.
I honestly, I think the Patriots got them right where they want them. They're the underdog. They're gonna be, they're obviously like gonna be. The speculation is gonna be about their offense and the lack of it, and it's gonna be about the road that they had and the easy schedule. Like it's the same storyline the whole way through right now.
They're the first team in NFL history to have a bye to the Super Bowl. So it's the first team. It's never happened before, but first team in NFL history to have a bye to the Super Bowl. I mean, you played the Chargers with no offensive line, and Herbert is just a joke
3
in the
points.
playoffs. Then you played CJ Stroud, who is
16
handing
points.
you interceptions. And then you finally go against a decent team in the Broncos, and their quarterback breaks their ankle and while
7 points.
celebrating, right? I mean,
I can't believe they scored 7 points in the first, drive.
Eric, you guys had one touchdown drive. It was 2 plays for 12 yards.
Yeah, that's exactly what he texted me, Eric. So I just want to let you know that is real. I feel obviously still most important, seeing a lot more teams contending with that elite QB. I mean, yeah, well, it's just like we said, man. I think there's a lot of teams that fell in love with the whole process of what it is to go get the sexy offense and sexy quarterback, but it's still 3 phases, man. You still got to play offense, defense, special teams. And the Rams will tell you they'd be playing if they didn't have a bad special teams unit. I mean, that was their gaping thing. They got Devontae Adams, they got Puka, they got Kyron, they got Blake, they got Stafford, they got Aaron Donald, they got all these guys. And it didn't matter because they had one other dude who wasn't named any of them who dropped the fucking ball. Like, that's all it takes, man. And you're playing in Seattle, the wind's whipping, all of that. Like, I could see why he muffed it. Are you kidding me? TJ's right. Like, with them bearing down on you and you got to catch this. And you could tell, like, he did not look grounded up there. That ball was waving at him. He was trying to sit there. It did not look good. You remember playing 500 as a kid or somebody kicking it off to you and you totally misread it and it goes over your head. It's exactly what happened, man. It was just a bad read, bad eyes, the wind. Like, he didn't give himself enough room behind and, like, run up at it. I felt like he was really trying to let it come down at him. And I know there's some real basic rules to be coached in there. And I don't understand why, if the mind isn't, the thought process isn't, the wind's coming at me, I got to back up. Or if it's going at it, I can at least maybe play it a little bit tighter because I know I'm going to have to charge it. But if the wind's coming at you, and they clearly said the wind was going at him. So I just don't know why you don't back it up and give yourself that extra 5 feet or 5 yards to make the run at it, you know?
I mean, it cost the Rams the Super Bowl, you could argue. And
who do you think would be a better matchup? The Rams in New England or the Seahawks in New England?
I do think,
because you need a New England in there. You can't have Stidham.
No. New England was going to be a backup quarterback that hasn't thrown an NFL pass in 2.5 years. I think that the Seahawks are a horrible matchup for New England. I think if the Rams played the Patriots, even though the Patriots offenses look dismal, the Rams secondary is so bad that I think the Patriots would at least, be able to make plays. I think the Seahawks fell victim to just Stafford being so hot and Puka and Devontae being uncoverable with those 2 tight ends. I mean, with Kyron
they
Williams
ran the most 11 personnel sets. They had all those tight ends.
Rams were on fire.
Those guys and tight ends, I can't believe they lost. It's crazy.
I think the Seahawks are going to clamp down. I think New England, I think it's just going to be one of those games where.
So you think this is the better matchup, though? You think for defense,
Seattle?
For Seattle.
Now I want to go back to what Rob's talking about, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Now, you don't always want to be results oriented, right? But are we going to start seeing teams like, what if like the Patriots just drafted Drake May and they win a Super Bowl? And then let's say he does good, but doesn't win another Super Bowl. And after 5 years, you just let him go. You don't do what the Bengals did. You don't do what the Browns did. You don't do what the Broncos, or not the Broncos. You don't do what the Ravens did. You don't do what the Cowboys did. You don't go pay a quarterback $50-60 million a year. You don't do what the Niners did, right? You just either you draft a quarterback or you do what Seattle did. And you find a guy in free agency where it doesn't lock up $60 million a year of your cap space, right? Every team has to sacrifice something. What did the Texans do? The Texans decided to go great defensive line, great defense all overall, rookie quarterback, number 1 receiver. They're really weak in their backfield. Like Woody Marks and Nick Chubb are not very athletic, but you have to give and take, right? What did the Rams do? The Rams decided we're not going to put any money into our secondary or linebacking crew, right? We'll have 1 or 2 good defensive linemen, but we're going to have a great quarterback great running back depth, 2 great receivers, maybe 3, honestly. Atwell, I think, was really good. I think he was hurt. And then good tight ends, right? Every team has to sacrifice. But when you have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract, that's when you could kind of maybe put all the pieces
Or a
together,
journeyman on a good deal.
or a journeyman on a good deal. What if the Giants hit jackpot with Jackson Dart, right? And he has a great 5 years. And after that, hey, Dart, we appreciate you. We're just going to reload and find a Jameis Winston or a Mac Jones or a Kirk Cousins. And we're going to pay those guys way less and build a super talented roster around us. Are we done with the days of just, oh, you have a good quarterback, you have to pay him $55-60 million a year?
I think that we're going to continue to see it because there are franchises that perennially miss on quarterbacks year after year, draft after draft, generation after generation. You have the Browns. They just got Shedeur Sanders. He just got the Pro Bowl nod because Drake's in the Super Bowl, right? His stats are not that sexy to be making the Pro Bowl and whatnot. Are the Browns really going to hitch their wagon to Shedeur Sanders after the rookie contract's over? Probably not, right? You could maybe make a situation, but if he continues to grow and he ends up getting like a AFC divisional berth, something like that, or AFC championship berth, they probably do sign him. I think that it depends on how far, like if Jackson Dart were to get the Giants to the championship game, then you guys probably make your bed with him. You know what I mean? I feel like it depends on what your rookie quarterback does in the first 4 years. And I think there are just some franchises that are so starved and that are so desperate to find a quarterback like the Jets that if they did have something for 4 years that was showing promise, they'd probably keep him just because they've been so abused or denied for the position for so long. The attrition, it's like, why did the same teams usually hit on quarterback every single time? Right?
Yeah.
And then the same teams struggle or miss. And it has to be front office. It has to be the eye test. It's your GMs, it's your personnel department, whatnot, whoever's making those choices. But I agree with you. If you're to ask me, and it's almost like the Madden approach, I'd rather go get a B player at that position at quarterback and get a bunch of B's and A's around him.
Yeah. Like a Sam
And
Darnold,
help
a
him
Daniel
grow
Jones.
into the A player that he's always had potential for. Because everybody in the league always has this untapped ceiling. And I think that we're seeing Sam Darnold's ceiling. Now, nobody could see it.
Yeah.
And it takes the vision, it takes the situation. What is luck? It's preparation and success meeting at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like an opportunity. It's preparation, success meets opportunity. That's luck. And here he is. He's getting lucky. He's got the best fucking defense he's ever had. He's got the best, arguably. He's right there. He's got Justin Jefferson, 2,000-yard receiver. JSN, 2,000-yard receiver. He's obviously been gifted. Running backs in both teams. I mean, this is the opportunity where now it's finally coming together and you're seeing it. So I would rather have a B if you're asking me. Give me a B quarterback, a B minus, and let him grow into the potential because he has everyone around him to build him up, talk him up, coach him up. And then maybe he gets that confidence because it's all about confidence around you.
Yeah. It's just about roster construction, right? I just think it's hard for these teams to construct a roster like the Cowboys or like the Bengals when the quarterback is eating up so much of that salary, right? You could argue that I think Burrow and Chase, what's the salary cap now? 250 million. I don't know what the salary cap is, but like Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, those are 3 players. They're taking up half of the Bengals. Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and if they re-sign Pickens, that's half of your 54-man roster, right? 54, right?
55, 54, something.
54, whatever. So I think that, I think the Vikings should go get Aaron Rodgers for a year or 2 I think you give Rodgers, you put him inside a dome where he's not freezing his ass off, and he's got Jefferson adding all those weapons. You know what I mean? Now McCarthy's on a rookie deal, but I just think that Mac
I was gonna say he
Jones,
just got his boy back. I mean, what do you think?
yeah, I think Mac Jones is going to be the starting quarterback in. I don't know about Miami, but look what Miami's trying to do. They're trying to go get Malik Willis, right? Because they think that you put Malik and Waddle and Achane together. You know what I mean? Guess what? Willis ain't taking 50, 60 million a year. He's going to take 15, 20 million a year, right? I don't know. I just wonder if we're going to see, the sports are always evolving, right? And I wonder now if teams are going to be like, look, it's so much more important for us to be deep on both sides of the ball than to have a quarterback taking up 25% of our salary.
And then all you're doing is looking at mega contracts that continue to grow, and you're getting, quarterbacks that are making $250 million, and it's over however many years, and it's all back in. Like the money keeps growing, the salary cap keeps growing. I just don't know how. I mean, I know how, but I'm not sure when we're going to see the majority of teams take the approach, because it seems like right now, if you're to ask me, I mean, it's about 50-50, right? You got
Yeah.
you look at fantasy, you got like 12 quarterbacks that go out there and really move the meter. And there's another 5 or 6 that are behind them. So that's half the league that can sit there and be serviceable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you can go and plug and play or stream a dude. No, that does kind of segue us into the next part of what we are going to do. We're going to start breaking down some potential plays and guys that we think are going to be up or down for the next year's fantasy season. And of course, that does start with quarterbacks. Right here, I got the list. It's saying number 1 quarterback next year, right away, 2026, Josh Allen. Obviously, he's a machine. They're lacking a lot when it comes to defense. So it keeps them in the offensive conversation because there's more opportunity for them to be down big or their defense to be awful, and he has to make a comeback. What do you think about Josh Allen being the number 1 overall fantasy quarterback?
Yeah,
I think he's finished 1 or 2 at the position last few years for sure.
Yeah, he's always going to be the top because of his rushing touchdowns. The top 10 went Josh Allen, Drake May, Matt Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, Dak Prescott, Bo Nix, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, then Herbert, Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Jackson Dart, and
So
then
the
Sam
top 12, ready? Top 12 go. Josh Allen, Drake May, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Hurts, Burrow, Dart, Caleb, Bo Nix, Dak, Purdy, Mahomes. Top 12. Trevor's at 13. Stafford's at 14.
Okay,
Herbert's at 15. Baker's 16. Goff 17. It's the same story. Like, you're going to be looking at quarterback next year, and everyone's going to be going for Josh Allen. People are going to overdraft Drake May. And, bro, I got Drake May in, like, the 11th round or something. Like, that's the reason why I love him this year, is because I got the deal on him. I'm not taking Drake May in the 5th or 6th round. And then after this playoff run, TJ's over here putting the jinx on him. The guy's, like, the most overrated quarterback. He's not doing shit. I'm like, how are you going to put him, even though he was the number 2 scorer? Because he had the easiest schedule. You know, one thing that nobody talked about when Josh Allen won MVP? He had the easiest schedule in the NFL that year. Nobody talks about that. If Drake May wins the MVP, it's par for the fucking course. It's not a difference. You're going to line up a quarterback who's exceptionally talented versus a schedule that's exceptionally easy, and you're going to play the odds. As long as he stays healthy, things are going to shake out in your favor. I mean, that's a recipe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that if we're like quarterbacks, I think Josh Allen will obviously be an early pick. He might even be a top 5 pick next year, which we haven't seen that in a very long time. I'm looking at all these other quarterbacks, and I probably pass and go way later. It was crazy, though, how bad Sam Darnold was as far as a fantasy quarterback, right?
Well, for weeks 1 through 9, he was actually a top 5 or top 8 guy. Yep. And then it was after that he regressed. But now he's kind of getting it back, right?
Yeah. But I do just wonder, like, that team, just the style of play, they kind of like hold back on him a little bit. He can obviously have a big game, but with that defense and stuff like that, you don't always
Jeff Schneider got Jordan Love in the 15th round of our draft. You're not going to talk me into taking quarterback early this next year. I mean,
think
no
if I have a
top,
it is. Yeah. Josh
And
Allen will go
I'm not going to
one.
sit there and pull the trigger. I'd rather continue, just like we talked about. We just literally spoke about it. I'm going to build my franchise on a B quarterback, and I'm going to
Yep.
try to put good positions around him. I want
Yep.
more tier running backs and receivers, get a value tight end and quarterback, and then continue to roll out there. And you got to get lucky when it comes to your late round picks. You got to find
Yeah.
those late value receivers and backs, right?
Let's talk about running backs. I think this is like a more interesting story. The number one running back in fantasy football this year was Christian McCaffrey, right? Bijan was a close second, then Jameer Gibbs, then Jonathan Taylor. That was 1, 2, 3, 4 fantasy points. This is PPR, right? And then Achane was 5, James Cook was 6. I think obviously Christian McCaffrey could kind of come crashing down a little bit, right? With age, I'm but I don't know.
You think that was his last hurrah? That's what you're thinking.
I say that though, but
what happens if Christian McCaffrey falls to you first, first pick, second round? He falls down to like 13, 14, 15. Are you still taking a shot at McCaffrey as your RB2?
100% then, but I don't think in any draft.
I think there's a price to be fair with him. You just don't want to gamble as him as your number one pick.
Yeah, I think he'll be a top 6 pick in almost every draft. I think. Let's look at running backs that really climb. Like I'm looking at just like the top 10. This is ESPN rankings. Travis Etienne was probably the biggest surprise, right? Where does Etienne go next year?
Yeah, next year they got Etienne at 21.
21st pick or 21st?
He's the 21st rated running back.
So that's probably middle third round, I guess, right?
I say further than that. I think that puts him in the 5th, like 4th or 5th. Yeah, he's that guy. I mean, if you're going to put him at 21, imagine 21 other receivers equally, and then
so
you
that
take
would be 42nd
QBs. That puts him 4th, 5th round ish, right? Depending on something like that. And I think that could be fair. I mean, I think that he absolutely blew up, and he was a bounce back candidate. And we saw production from him the year before. And there's a reason why everybody fell off of that is because he was so shitty after he had such a great year.
And also Tutton there kind of changes because he looks so good. Also, ETN is really weird. I've watched him play a lot. When he catches the ball out of the backfield, he has this like confidence and like can make people miss. But when he gets the ball handed off to him, he like explodes through the line, but he's like when he hits the hole, he's already kind of falling. I have watched this a lot. I've watched Etienne do this a lot. Etienne has a reputation. You know, when they say this guy has a nose for the end zone, he's like the opposite. He like doesn't have a nose for the end zone. It's really weird when you watch him run. When he catches it out of the backfield, it seems like his vision's so wide open.
No, that's worrisome. You got Jeff over here talking about McCaffrey with a slight drop off and how good Brian Robinson Jr. looked. You got Springs over here saying Etienne's always underrated.
Oh, also, Buff, really quick. I was hearing this yesterday. How old is Breece Hall?
Without looking, I'm guessing Breece Hall is 25.
Okay, I guess 26. He's 24.
He's 24. Yeah, okay. So he's young.
Now, his birthday is in 4 months, so he's like 24 points.
So he'll be 25 when the next season starts.
Yeah, but he'll be like, when spring training starts,
he'll be in his prime with an ACL injury 3 years behind him.
Yeah. So I think Breece, I think honestly, like not too early rankings or whatever. I feel like that will be a decision. Breece Hall, Etienne.
Breece Hall is rated 13th next year.
Yeah.
So I mean, they obviously got between Breece Hall is Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, Josh Jacobs, RJ Harvey, Cam Scotabo, Quinshon Judkins, Javonte Williams, and then Travis Etienne. Those are all the dudes that get in between there. So would you take, I would probably take, oh, that's tough. You're right. Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence in that offense, Breece Hall, Derrick Henry. That's you're like, okay, I like
obviously there's a lot of unknown. I think I'm going.
There's so many things that you have to continue with. But even right now, just as you look at it and you're wondering about the Jets situation and compared to these guys, it is a bit of a coin flip. because Josh Jacobs at Green Bay, he's fallen down. You got RJ Harvey who's coming up, Cam Scattaboo, Quinshawn Judkins hit with his injury and whatnot. These are all the guys that are right there
Yeah.
just ahead of him. And then
And
Kenneth
I mean,
Walker's after him, Rico Dowdle,
it's
Monagai,
crazy to
Charbonnet.
think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chase Brown was the 7th best running back in
Bro,
the
Chase Brown
NFL
led
this
me
year.
to a championship. Like,
Yeah.
is
It's
what it
crazy
is.
because he was almost not startable, right? I remember
I
there
mean,
were times
he was
in
he
a
was a
double
flex.
flex.
He
You
was
were
he
thinking
was
like,
the flex the entire time. He was meddling around 10 points and he could barely get more than 10 carries. It was real
yeah.
tough.
I think Ashton Genty climbs up the ladder. I think James Cook has another good year too. Achan is kind of interesting because with a different offense, you know what I mean? Is he going to be? I mean, the thing about Achan that people don't realize is how strong the guy is and how he just sheds arm tackles. I think he could be a 20 carry a game guy, but what kind of offense is he going to be in, right?
I think they probably continue to run him the same way. He's obviously shown the propensity to catch the ball out the backfield. So give me A-Chain is the only guy who again will have the chance to go 1,000. You know what
Does
I
Malik
mean?
Willis hurt him or help him?
I think it helps
Because
him. I think Malik
we're
Willis is
assuming
growing.
we're
I think he's
assuming Malik
fine.
Willis
I
goes to the
mean,
Dolphins.
maybe it's a little bit different on some goal line packages. You know what I mean? But like overall, I could see A-Chain being just fine, like doing his role with a Malik Willis who needs that check down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Also, I'll never forget when it was this. They were showing how a mobile quarterback helps a running back. And it was actually Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. I'll never forget it because I was like blown away. It was like Sunday countdown, whatever, right? 9 years, however long ago. And Dak Prescott back then was kind of known as a mobile quarterback, right? I feel like now he wasn't that anymore, but coming out of Mississippi State, he's like a big guy that could run, will scrap for first downs.
After he broke his ankle, bro, that they were like,
not really known for his arm. But they literally showed how Dak froze this defensive end that was kind of like waiting to see what he was going to do. And obviously he had to respect Dak's legs. So it froze him just for a split second. And Zeke had a 40-yard touchdown run. You know what I mean? Or it was a 40-yard run. I don't know how, but, and I know that's a long time ago, but it's crazy how a mobile quarterback frees up. And the threat of the run is why Saquon was so valuable last year. And because you're always scared of Jalen Hurts, right? So it's, you know, I'm just saying Malik Willis goes to the Dolphins, which we're hearing reports it's going to happen. Then that will be real interesting to see. I think it opens it up for HN. Might steal some touchdowns for him, but it definitely opens it up. When Tua was doing a read option, you're either scared he's going to pull it back and throw it 4 yards, or
personally,
I'm taking
HN over McCaffrey, right?
Yeah, that's a close one. I think that's a close one.
I like HN over McCaffrey just because of the durability issue, and obviously HN's a little dude, but he is strong and he's shown to be so tough. You just talked about Tua, bro. I heard some crazy breakdown on Tua, and everyone's going to be out on him next year, and obviously, you know, we've seen his regression per se.
Yeah,
the dude led the league just a couple years ago with an 8.9 target per average ratio. It was like the number one in the league. He led the league in passing a couple years ago. I mean, it's crazy to think how far that Tua has dropped. And we talked about it on that car ride home last week. It's got to be the concussions. And just like you said, you looked at that college ball and the zip that he threw. And like you just can't see Tua doing it right now. And I was listening to XM radio, and they were just like, how crazy it is that it could be that he's just not right yet and he's still getting healthy. I disagree with that. He doesn't believe that he's really lost these intangibles. And I'm like, okay, he said he could very well be a very good sleeper pick depending on where he goes in the right situation. And I just can't see myself actually picking it because I'm like, yo, you just had McDaniels.
Well, yeah, you'll never pick him because you can get him off the wire. He won't get drafted.
Right. Well, right. Sure. Yeah. And you're talking about a plug and play situation. in a time where, I mean, there's a couple of games last year in the league where I streamed to it, and there was a couple of good plays. You know, it was against Atlanta or whatever, and this and that. There's like a couple of late games, man. I think he's still gonna have
No,
some juice left. I know everyone's
no, yeah,
leaving him
I
as a
agree.
dead dog right now
Yeah, I agree, Jeff. Marion Hampton, I think, is going to be amazing next year if he could stay
with
healthy.
McDaniel.
I didn't know he was like so fragile, but if he could stay healthy, he's going to be
I don't
incredible
know
in
if
that
he's so
offense.
fragile. I think that he was just never fully healed from his injury.
Yeah. But yeah, to go back to what you were talking about with Tua, for anyone that doesn't understand, I wish we could pull up the highlight, but it was Tua in the national championship game. He throws this like 50-yard dart. And even in college, going into the NFL, he was known as an undersized guy with limited arm talent, but with his mind and everything like that, he's good enough, obviously, to go top 5, top 6, whatever he was. And he throws this 50-yard laser beam for a touchdown. And I think that the concussions and everything has changed his release, his core, not because he's playing scared. He has just lost the ability to deliver the football because he was known as a quarterback with limited arm strength. But 2 or 3 years ago, he could still get the ball to places and he could still put zip on it. He just
He could
couldn't
still
throw it
throw a
70.
50-yard pass, and now you're
Yeah,
like, I mean,
he
you're saying
can't
he could
throw a
probably still throw a
25-yard
50.
pass.
It's just not
Yeah.
going to be the rope that we need it to be.
Yeah, because like, yeah, I could go out there and I could go and do it right now and throw 45, 50 yards. I've proven it time and time again.
Sure.
But I think Tua has lost it with his core, and there's things that he's lost that now I don't know if he's ever going to get it back. But I'll never, it was against, not against the Steelers. That post corner was so bad. But there was a play against the Bills, I remember, when they were moving down the field. And Waddle like runs this like out route, and Tua's rolling out to him and throws it to him. And like Waddle had to like go down on his knees and get it. It was like a 10-yard throw. And you're like, Tua just like, I'm like, I deliver the ball. Like, please, God, deliver the ball. But yep, it's
All right,
kind of
let's go.
crazy, I think.
Well, let's go just real quick back into the running backs, like on the bottom 50. Jordan Mason makes the 50 number. Do you think
Oh, yeah,
he's
let me
going
ask
to?
you this. Let me ask you this really quick. Are you going James Cook? You said you were going to pick Achan over Christian McCaffrey. Are you
Sure.
picking Achan over James Cook?
That one is a little tough. I would need to see what happens over there in Miami. But that's about where I'm at.
And
Those
and
two,
in Buffalo,
I
right?
think James Cook is showing his dominance right now in that backfield. And I think that last year we were talking about, like, is he going to be the guy, and are they going to let this other dude kind of take it? He's established. He's the guy. It's his backfield. The way everybody in the locker room, everybody on the team, you got to put James Cook right there in that top tier
Yeah.
conversation. And I think I like James Cook over Ashton Genty still right now. I'm just like,
Yeah,
and I
me
know
too.
that the ceiling of Ashton Genty is just so beautiful, and we just don't know what that beauty looks like yet. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
maybe he does arrive year 2, and he had a couple of good games where he shows that pop. But what are
Yeah.
you
Oh,
doing? What are we
yeah.
doing over there in Las Vegas? I'm just real curious, and I don't know. No matter how many touches the guy can get, and I think that's detrimental. If you give him 500 and something touches, it doesn't mean it's going to stick. It just means maybe he has better production. But I think that also it's like damaged goods. Like you saw what happened to McCaffrey after all those 500 touches and this and that. Like you just start to really whittle him down and drain him a little bit. It's opposite of Derrick Henry, who was just unutilized for the first 3 or 4 years. And that's why you're still putting him in this conversation where he's fallen at 14. And I like Derrick Henry over the likes of,
I'm taking
I don't
Derrick
know,
Henry
I
if he
probably
slips
still
to the
like
second
Derrick
round.
Henry over Breece Hall, over Bucky Irving. You know what I mean? I mean, personally, and in that situation, I think they're still going to have a guy who's going to come in and run Derrick Henry. So yeah, there's a couple of things that are feeling that are close right now. It's like Jeff said, we need to see where some things fall out, man.
Yeah.
But at the bottom, I just wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So there's this whole potential of a pass catching Dylan Sampson as a late guy. Jordan Mason didn't really pop out. Ramondre Stevenson's going 40. He's clearly going to have an established role because Travion, with all that pop, he hasn't earned the right yet. I think Blake Corum's really coming up, and he's at the 39 bubble. And I think that he's a sexy mid guy. You talked about Bishal Tutton. Got to keep Tutton in there. Joe Mixon is coming back next year. You know that whole debacle.
Yeah. That will
These
be
are
real interesting.
Kenneth Gainwell. I think was a huge surprise. Unbelievable potential and the way he was catching the ball. I think he really
But
built
with
something
no
with
Aaron
Aaron
Rodgers
Rodgers.
there, because I think you assume Rodgers won't be there.
Right. I was just
This
saying with Aaron Rodgers, it showed that pop. And it's like, man, like he just showed, like he's still there and he was a very good late round value. Tony Pollard had some juice, but him and Dowdle are kind of these are the guys that are going to be league winners, but this is what they look like right now.
Yeah.
One of
No,
these guys or
yeah.
multiple dudes out of that list are going to run for 1,000 or 12 or get you 10 ugly touchdowns or something stupid in your double flex on a bye week and come in and get you a crucial win. These are the dudes.
Yeah. I was real
How
high
do
on
you how do you
Gainwell
approach
before the
Rashad
season.
White in the Tampa backfield?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, Rashad White, I would take it down. Like I'm not excited about Rashad White, obviously, but I mean, obviously, if you're getting him in the 10th round or something or 8th round, I don't know where he's going, but
He's
that's
projected
fuck you.
45 overall in running backs. I mean, you're talking
Yeah.
he's somewhere there. All right,
Let's
let's
go
get
to
into receivers, huh? So
let's go to
receivers
receivers.
that made a difference. Jamar Chase actually withstood a crazy season to finish as a pretty secure first round pick, right? And he blew
Yeah.
up late. JSN and Puka, I think, are arguably number 1 or 2. I think overall, I think this is a year that you're going to see them going number. If you're taking Bijan, I get it, but I would clearly see a Puka, and I guess people want to see if Stafford's going to be there. Jason and Darnold, that's real. Those two are connected. It's real, and there's nothing but upside there. Amon-Ra, solid. Again, just has these disappointing games that it's really tough for me to want to take him as my number 1 overall. Solid, so good, but every year he has these stinkers, these clunkers in the worst time. And sure, he has these great breakout games, but it really fucking frustrates me from a standpoint of I don't want to trust you as my
He was the
number
third
1.
best. Yeah, he was the third best receiver this year. Puka
Right.
was 1, JSN was 2. Now, yeah,
I
we've
had
talked
one
about
league
this.
where I got Amon-Ra in the middle of the second round. Loved him there, right? Great deal. Love that. It makes me nervous and hurts me to take him as my number 1 overall, knowing the likes of a Jamar Chase or these other guys and other people that are going to be finishing around the top of the position.
Yeah, that's crazy to think mid-second round. But yeah, Amon-Ra's just like
That's
Jahmyr
because in that
Gibbs.
league, it was a Yahoo league. Everyone goes running back heavy. And when you see the running back run go, it doesn't always matter about where people are positioned, because then you had every running back like Travion Henderson, Amari and Hampton. All of those dudes were all going early in the late second, early third.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. So you ended up, I just didn't want to go and take one of those. So I ended up taking an Amon-Ra because I didn't want to overreach for a running back, and you just let the positions fall to you. I ended up winning that league, by the way. Crazy.
I think that with Amon-Ra, it's the same thing as Jahmyr Gibbs. There's just so many mouths to feed that you're just not going to have.
Valid point.
But he's a number 3 receiver in the NFL. I mean, he's a guy like to think.
Not just he's been top 3
5.
last few years.
Yeah. I want to be top 5 or top 6 this year. I want my hands on Puka or JSN or Bijan or Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor. Those are my top 5. Not in that order.
I won't have a shot at any of them, I would imagine. I don't get to pick, so I think I might end up 8 is what I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm happy with 8. I'm okay with that because I like what I see at 8. But I will say
at Jamar Chase too, because you get Jamar Chase maybe at 8.
I don't think Jamar Chase drops that much. I think Jamar Chase
yeah, because he's probably higher than Amon-Ra. I'm taking Puka and JSN over Jamar. Actually, hold on. The whole Puka thing depends on.
I talk about Amon-Ra because I feel like I'm gonna get Amon-Ra as fucking 8, and I think that would be stuck with him in this kind of position because it's Amon-Ra. Maybe, and it's if McCaffrey's there,
maybe C-Mac, yep.
Right, you're looking there, and then it's maybe I just fucking take James Cook and say fuck both of them because I trust his situation a little bit more.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy to sit there and think about it, but after Amon-Ra, I mean, there's CeeDee Lamb, there's Jefferson, you know what I mean? Rashee Rice is supposed to be right there. Drake London is coming up. I don't trust Nico right now, right? Talk about a guy who is so talented and
So
amazing,
talented.
and he's a league winner. Can you trust Nico right now with what you've seen from Stroud?
Yeah, I can. I just don't
You think
trust
you trust
Nico's
him?
health.
Because in our league, he was early second round.
Yeah, I just don't trust his health. But for how bad CJ Stroud is, he still targets his receivers good. He's just so he's like a Jameis. CJ Stroud's turning into like a Jameis Winston, you know?
What about
Where
Neighbors, who is filling out right after Nico right now as the top 10 receiver?
yeah, Neighbors is gonna be real interesting. I mean,
Very special, right?
I think Dart's gonna get him the ball, but it's gonna be all, a lot of unknowns there. But yeah, I'm hoping he comes back. Supposedly that injury, they come back healthy. So I gotta kind of wrap it up. Where does AJ Brown land next year? Because he's probably not gonna be on the Eagles, right?
Right, and they got him as a top 12 pick, and there's just no way he's gonna be on the Eagles, right? And he came from Tennessee, and he got the ring, so I feel like AJ Brown's the type of dude who's about the bag, and he just wants to go catch balls. So maybe he
Yeah.
goes and helps a young receiver in a shitty team that'll pay him,
Or maybe the
right?
Bills. Maybe the Bills pay him. I heard the Bills, from what I understand, they're tired of
But
it and they're
does that
gonna
help Josh Allen? Obviously, we've seen him without an X receiver, and if Josh Allen doesn't throw it to him, which I mean, we know Josh Allen loves his tight ends.
I know the problem is that it's gonna be probably Pickens or like an AJ Brown that the Bills get. But I think the Bills are gonna be like, fuck it, we don't care. Those two guys, if they could stay healthy, they might be a distraction. But we need a number one receiver. We need Josh, and I think Josh Allen will overcome
What
that
if AJ
stigma
Brown,
of
you know who's got the money, and I think an interesting take, and I know you hate him, but they need it. What if AJ Brown goes to New England?
yeah, I heard that also. Yeah,
Because he's got the potential, they got the cap, they got Drake May, they're young, and they're in an ascending team, and you put AJ Brown at Diggs and Booty is your third with those tight ends with Hunter and with
yeah,
Hooper. And those running backs, I think that's a great fit. I think if he goes there and they got
yeah.
the money.
AJ Brown's a beast. He's in his
And can you
prime.
imagine the
Can't really
drugs between AJ Brown and Stephon Diggs on the next yacht and party boat with Cardi B?
be a good party.
Be a good
Drake
party.
May will be at home, not staying up past curfew, but I
Drake
gotta
May will
wrap
be
it
like,
up.
send me a picture.
Yeah, I gotta wrap it up.
All right, man.
But
Yeah, no, it's good
yeah,
times, man. We'll preview the Super Bowl. We'll continue the fantasy conversation. We'll break into a little bit more and continue to talk running backs or receivers and tight ends as that continues to blossom. We're gonna go down to one show a week coming up here
yeah.
shortly. As the football season winds down a little bit and we start to ramp up with some of these crazy baseball decisions. Did you hear the fucking Dodgers went after Skubal? There was
Yeah.
rat bastards.
Well,
They
yeah.
eat fucking cheddar
I
cheese.
joked about
Those rat
skiing.
bastards. They're awful. And you heard they were going to give them. It's like $285 million all in year 13. You know what I mean? It's insane.
Yeah.
It's
It's ridiculous.
All right, man. One
All
love.
right, guys.
Good luck to your fan guy. Appreciate the love, man. Seeing everybody in the chat. Schneider, Zandy, everybody, John T. Appreciate y'all, man. Prop stars out.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Peace.